Okay, guys. So, let's talk about this. Cheers to my peers. No alcohol, y'all know better. So, Alycia Baumgardner, they've announced her next fight, which will be November 8th, 2026, of course. And she is fighting, she's moving up to 135 to fight against IBF champion, current IBF champion, Elif Turhan. Now, Elif Turhan is 14-0, no losses, no draws, with 8 knockouts. Alycia Baumgardner, 18 wins, 1 loss, 7 knockouts, no draws. Now, this is going to be a fight for a title, the IBF, and because there's a title on the line, I'm not going to knock Alycia Baumgardner for her choice, but I'm going to get into why these type of fights are cherry picked, even when it's for a title. Because if you go up to a division or go down to a division, you're claiming to be the best fighter. Okay, in this situation, I'm the best female fighter out there. I'm the face of boxing. You go fight the best fighters in the division first. Boxing is not what it used to be. This isn't the Pacquiao and Floyd era. This is not the Ali Frazier era. This is not the Leonard Hagler era. There are no super fights. These fights are all just hype, positioning, and build up to a bunch of talking. And if you get a fight, then you get a fight. But the majority of the talk is just insults and trash talking online. Here's a fight that came about, and everybody goes, who the fuck is Elif Turhan? Exactly, right? Oh, know how people always talk about, oh, Clarissa gotta fight better competition. She's fighting the champions. And there are no Caroline Dubois. That would be like, imagine when Shields went up, when she fought against Savannah Marshall, right? Let's just imagine she went and fought some other champion that basically wasn't nearly as good as Savannah Marshall. And then she's going, I'm the GOAT. Oh, well, Savannah Marshall's not on my level. She just needs to wait right? But wait a minute. No. This is why back in the day, I respect, like with Pernell Whitaker, for example. Pernell Whitaker went up to 154 pounds. He fought a champion named Julio Cesar Vasquez. At the time, at 154, Terry Norris was the man. He did not fight Terry Norris. And in fact, I'm going to tell you why I respect what Pernell said, as opposed to idiotic fans making stupid claims that never came out of Pernell's mouth. When Pernell, and anybody can pull it up right here on YouTube and look at the interview. Go look at the post-fight interview and you'll see for yourselves, right? When Larry Merchant asked him, are you going, whoever it was, Larry or whoever the hell, Freddie, might have been Freddie Pacheco, I don't remember, but whoever the hell was talking to him asked him, are you going to fight Terry Norris? Pernell Whitaker, watch me and then go watch it and see if he don't do it. He said, no, just like that. And he goes, I didn't come up here to stay at 154. I just came up for the accomplishment, just to push myself just for another accomplishment. His response was no. Like, are you crazy? No, man, I'm not here to stay at 154. You can't take the accomplishment away from Pernell. But if Pernell would have been like, I'm the best fighter, plain and simple, pound for pound, I can go to 154 and I can, right? But you did, and you didn't fight Terry. And this is why I always like Pernell as a fighter too, but this is why I didn't have a problem with what he did, because he did it for the accomplishment. But if he was going around telling people, man, I smoked Terry Norris, I beat Terry Norris too, or now it's like, okay, now you acting like a bitch. because you had every opportunity to fight Pernell Whitaker. I mean, to fight Terry Norris, just like Chavez and all them other fighters that ducked. Yes, Terry Norris's team sent Chavez a $10 million offer. This is fact. This documented. And they turned it down. Them dudes didn't want to fight Terry Norris, man. You know, when you get to a point where you're no longer the same fighter and you start getting losses, like you know what I mean? You might have certain things that's still there, but overall you're not the same. Yeah, now people, I think I see a weakness. That's what starts happening with a lot of fighters. But he didn't go fight Terry Norris because he knew that was a fight he wasn't going to win. He knew that. Meldrick Taylor, he went up and he wanted to fight Terry Norris. I give him props because as a fighter, he's just doing his job. But he went up, he fought him. Just like just think about this. Meldrick Taylor fought Terry Norris. Sugar Ray Leonard fought Terry Norris, right? So when we're talking about guys who go up to a weight class or come down to a weight class, right? They target certain people because they think they see a weakness, or they target people because of the greatness or how good they are, right? So take the fanboyism out of it and stop assuming what it was and listen to what they say. And Meldrick Taylor was just down for the challenge. But, he lost. But the fact is, he fought him. You go to somebody's division, to another division, and you want to fight a title holder, but you don't want to fight the best champion in that division. You can't come claiming you're the best. You understand what I'm saying? Which for me, I really don't care about all of that shit anyway, because you can rank Inoue number one in boxing. He can't beat not one fucking heavyweight out there. So you understand what I'm saying? It's like rankings or rankings. This is why it's more respectable when you look at work ethic, the eye test for one, but the work ethic of what a person is doing and who they're fighting, as opposed to, oh, I like him, fuck everybody else, boo you and yay him. This is the childish stuff that happens. Okay, now that all being said, Clarissa is going up, taking belts, dropping down, taking belts, defending belts, right? Clarissa is not running from nobody. So there is no, oh, this person is in the division and Clarissa won't fight her. No, she fight who the best people are, and she's become undisputed in all these different weight classes. Now, for Alycia, from what I understand, she's not vacating her belts at 130. We already know what that's about. Certain fighters had immunity to do that. Canelo with that franchise championship bullshit. Now, Crawford also, when he went up to 154 and fought, he was still the champion at 147. They didn't strip him right away, whereas other fighters didn't have that same immunity. They were told that if they was to go up, they have to strip, vacate the belt, which is unfair. So I guess due to popular demand, it's whichever way the wind blows, that's what they go with. Now, so Alycia is in that same category as far as she hasn't dropped the belts. And the reason that happens is simply because it's a thing of, in case that person lose, they still have belts at the other weight class. I mean, Jermell Charlo wasn't so fortunate overall. He took one of his belts, and then he eventually lost all the belts. Now, he had issues with not being ready to fight at times, and I mean, he was holding on. Jermall Charlo, now we're not talking about somebody just holding on, because Jermall was holding on to titles that he wasn't fighting. But in terms of going up and down in weight to, it's one of these things. Like I said, everybody don't get the same fortune. But with this fight, Alycia Baumgardner is fighting this woman for a title. You have Caroline Dubois there, who's fighting this weekend on Michaela Mayer's on the same card with Michaela Mayer versus Chantel. I think she's fighting Moore. I forget her first name, but so she'll be fighting on that card. Now, this Alycia Baumgardner fight is not until November. If she eventually gets in there with Caroline Dubois, which is what's supposed to happen. I don't see the point. And people can't say it's the timing. The timing had nothing to do with it. If she wanted this fight with Dubois, this is what would be happening already, or they would be in training camp for. She clearly shot that fight down, and for her to say that Dubois, and this is my thing, the fact for her to try to pretend Dubois is not on her level. Why can't a fighter just say, "Hey, Caroline Dubois is an amazing fighter. Okay, we're eventually going to fight. I have my sights set on, what I want to do. I'll get to her. She's an amazing fighter, and we will fight." No, why? No. She's a little puppy. Oh, and one thing about puppies, you got to feed them. All this stupid shit, and then now you go to fight. Let me explain something to y'all. Elif Turhan is the IBF champion, and she is a terrible fighter. She has one thing about her that anybody can give her credit for, and that she just has some power in her punch. She's flat-footed, slow-footed, terrible balance, no defense, no head movement. She fights like a street fighter, not even an amateur boxer, a street fighter. She wings her shots. She don't work off of a jab. She has no lateral movement, no footwork. This is one of the most robotic, one-dimensional, easiest cherry-pick fights. And she has a title. That's what I'm saying. Baumgardner's fighting for a title. Great. This paper champion has the belt, right? She's undefeated. Okay, cool. Go take her belt. I get that. But until you beat Caroline Dubois, right? All of the trash talking doesn't make you look good. It just means you're running your mouth. Until you get in there with Caroline, this woman holding the belt. Let's look at it like this, okay? John Ruiz held a world championship. Charles Martin held a championship. Trevor Bryant held the championship. Hell, at one point, Bermain Stavern held the championship, and people were saying he's an excellent fighter. When the fuck was Bermain Stavern ever an excellent fighter? But, case in point, some of the worst boxers in the world, okay, some bad boxers at some point in time was able to win a championship. Regardless to how they got it, they were able to have it. So I'm not knocking her for going after a belt. But for that matter, it's like, hell, let me go take Dubois' belts. Then whoever's holding the titles, I'll go get that as well. You understand what I'm saying? One could say, hey, man, but she could fight, Dubois after she fight. Yeah, and hopefully that's what she does. But at the same fucking time, this is exactly the point what I'm saying. Another weak opponent. This is by design. Nah, we don't need Caroline just yet. Nah, they have a very weak champion in that division. And guess what? We'll go after her. Now, you see her name. Go look her up. And I guarantee you guys come back in the comment section and say, damn, this chick is terrible. That chick is awful, man. And this is the point of what I'm saying. Clarissa Shields has never fought a champion. A fight. I remember seeing Clarissa fight a champion as bad as this woman. This chick is awful, man. Awful. She's 31 years old. Baumgardner's 32 years old. So they're right there in the same age group. And she's awful. Let me explain something to y'all. If this chick was Clarissa's size, if she was big enough to fight, Danielle Perkins would beat the brakes. Yeah, 42-year-old Danielle Perkins would beat the natural shit out of Elif Turhan. Elif Turhan is pure garbage. Now, I have to be blunt when I speak. I don't want to sugarcoat nothing. I'm walking on eggshells to try to be respectful, and I'm telling y'all why. Because when I do so, any of us, I don't like to disrespect people, and it's not about an attack on people. That's not what it's about. I'm being honest. She's garbage. No different for if your favorite football team is 0 and fucking 16 and your stupid asses is talking, your team, they're 0 and 12 and you talking about, we still got a chance. A chance to do what? What Super Bowl are they going to? I mean, they can buy tickets and go to the game, yeah. That's about it. And you still, no. So they might be trash this year, maybe next year they'll be better. But I'm going to be honest. Hell, if I like a football team and they're trash, I'm going to say, nah, they're trash this year. And I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. And I want to be honest because if you say, how do you rank this person on a scale from 1 to 10? I'll rank this person trash. Elif Turhan is awful. In fact, when she fights, the commentary team, they point out her wrong. They point out how terrible she is. But yet she has a belt in a weak division. We just seen Amanda Serrano fight the number 2 ranked woman at 126. Same thing. The 126 division is weak. So when you hear me say, when you say Clarissa Shields' name, and then you're bringing up people like Sandy Ryan, like she'd be a test for Shields. You're bringing up Michaela Mayer, like she'd be a test for Shields. You're bringing up Baumgardner. You're bringing up Katie. You're bringing up so these women, these little women are not on her level, and they're not gonna fight her. And then none of them want to go to 160. The only one that has the heart, or at least say she wants to do it, is Lauren Price. And Lauren Price gives me no reason at this point to think that she would say something just to say it. I don't think she's going to pull a Keyshawn Davis. You understand what I mean? But yeah, and the point, what I'm saying is this, right? If there was no Caroline Dubois in that division, and let's just say whatever belt that Alycia Baumgardner would decide to go after, right? If Alycia Baumgardner, if her and her team would have picked Elif Turhan, right? And the other champions were just as terrible as her, then it really makes no difference. But the fact that Caroline is there, and that the only reason that fight hasn't happened is simply because Alycia don't want the fight. This right here, to me, is not, this does not give Alycia Baumgardner any leverage against Dubois. Dubois is already a champion there. You're the one coming up to this weight class. So we know that Alycia is no big star. And unlike Caroline, unfortunately for Alycia, she don't have a country behind her because America sucks. America's racist as fuck and they don't support their own. Now, my point in pointing all of this out is nobody's having the same energy with her choice of an opponent as they are with Clarissa's choices of an opponent. The chick that Clarissa just fought would fuck up Elif Turhan. Not just because she's bigger. Elif Turhan is garbage, man. This chick literally, like Drago, hands be wide open. She bring her punches from here. She get hit and always putting her arms out. Like, you know, she is garbage. She's pure trash, man. Honestly, when I watch Elif Turhan fight, you know what goes through my mind? We're about to have a bunch of YouTubers, a lot more YouTubers and podcasters become fighters now. Because when they see this woman, they're going to be like, if she's a pro, she's trash. She's complete garbage, man. And then, but she could take a punch. The only reason people say, what a jaw on this person is because they're getting hit with excessive, unnecessary punches. That's why. That's why. She's just, you can hit her with anything. This woman has nothing. So I'm telling you, and by November, she's not going to be a better fighter. This is just who she is. Her footwork is lousy. Her balance, her balance is, do you guys remember when James Toney went to heavyweight and he's all fat? Remember how he used to get knocked, he used to get off balance throwing his own punches, or when he get punched, he'd be off balance. Like her balance is worse than James Toney's was as a fucking fat, out of shape heavyweight. And he had a big pot belly and everything. This woman just, her balance is awful, man. Her slow feet, she don't know how to cut off a ring. She has power, but so what? She wings punches. She don't work off of a jab. She doesn't even throw a decent 1-2. Not even a decent 1-2. Everything with her is power shot. Try to knock you out. She leads with a chin. This was handpicked. Easy work. Let's get that belt. Okay, cool. Whatever. But case in point, if this was a Claressa Shields opponent, I guarantee you right now, there'll be videos all headline, this is the worst Claressa Shields opponent yet. This chick is awful. In fact, the chick that Amanda Serrano just fought against, right, has better technique than Elif Turhan. And Elif Turhan is, and that chick was wild, sloppy, no form, no real skill at all, just nothing, just dropping her head and winging punches at Amanda Serrano. Elif Turhan is awful, man. And the thing about it is, right, they're going to say, she's tough, strong, she comes forward, she's undefeated, 8 knockouts. That's what they're going to say, right? Right. Now, here's what I'm saying. I can't fault Alycia Baumgardner for how bad Elif Turhan is. And the fact that Elif Turhan has a belt, yes, she should fight her. She should fight whoever has a belt so she can get the belt. But my point, what I'm saying is, she's not as confident as she pretends. Because at the end of the day, if you say, well, Elif Turhan has a belt, wait, Caroline has a belt, but so does Elif Turhan. That's like the Errol Spence excuse. You know what I'm talking about? Huh? Sean Porter too late in the ass for me, man. When I beat him, y'all gonna say he too small. Go get a belt first, then we can fight. Terrence Crawford goes and get a belt. He runs into Errol Spence. And he said, what's up? I got a belt. You said if I go get a belt, we can fight, right? Sean Porter got a belt too. Sean Porter got a belt too. Why not take the easy route and fight Sean Porter? That's what this is. Yeah, that's what this is. That's exactly what this is. Remember when Floyd Mayweather chose Andre Berto? And everybody was talking about, he should fight Amir Khan. And Paulie Malignaggi with his dumb, smart, intelligent, goofy, stupid, retarded ass basically had y'all believing that stylistically, Amir Khan, he's a threat. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. You know why this is not the same thing as that? Because Andre Berto was a 3-time champion and had 3 losses, just like Amir Khan, a 3-time champion and had 3 losses. And it doesn't matter. They both were in the same boat. Floyd would have beat Amir Khan the same way he beat motherfucking Berto and made him look stupid like he did everybody else and all that little bullshit hand speed. Do y'all seem to forget a motherfucking, what's his name? What's his name? Chris Algieri. Remember when he fought against when he fought against Amir Khan? Chris Algieri has no punching power. All he did was grew a beard and tried to look more rugged, and he walked Amir Khan down. I'm like, people don't, they just talk. This motherfucker, Amir Khan, had nothing that Floyd wouldn't be able to handle. And this dude ran the whole time. Do you understand? He ran the whole time from a dude that can't punch. Floyd would have stopped Amir Khan. And or just spared him and just beat his ass up all night long. But bottom line, he would have been no contest. And it doesn't matter. He could have picked Keith Thurman. He could have picked Tim Bradley, which Tim Bradley and them told a story about why they turned the fight down with Floyd. Yeah, okay. So they even turned the fight down. Floyd would have beat any one of them. And it would have just been, well, he won't beat every time Floyd wins. It's, let's bring up another opponent. Matter of fact, to show you how retarded people are, I've been watching Floyd fights and people in the room would be like, before the fight is even over, they start bringing up other guys because they already see this motherfucker ain't going to win. And it's like the 5th, 6th round. They're already bringing up somebody else. Oh, okay then. And my point is, he beat a guy that was a former 3-time champion and had 3 losses. It don't matter who he would have picked. I mean, Keith Thurman couldn't even beat 40-year-old motherfucking Manny Pacquiao, and he called him a fucking rabbit. You know where I'm going to lose to a 40-year-old rabbit. He got beat the fuck up, got dominated, got dropped. Pacquiao really, against Floyd, had 2 good rounds. 2 good rounds. And landed 2 big bombs, right? When you look at the fight itself, he got outboxed, outclassed, and Floyd made that shit look easy. But somehow, Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, and any other them motherfuckers wasn't no. Them dudes was no test for Floyd. Plain and simple. And let's be real. Even Terrence Crawford fought a washed up version of Amir Khan, a washed up version of Kell Brooks. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, guys. When people say things, and like I remember somebody was like, yo, Emmanuel Augustus gave Floyd a tough fight. Yeah. You talking about Floyd that was like 20, 21-0? You understand? 20-something and 0. I don't know. I don't think he's at the 25 fight mark yet, but whatever. It's like, I know he was, and Emmanuel Augustus, let me explain something about that fight. Emmanuel Augustus was a seasoned veteran, and that motherfucker had like 16 losses. You want to know what he was? He was Floyd's an up-and-coming dude. Floyd is building up. Let's put him in here with a veteran, a tough, cagey veteran, and see what. That's what that fight was. And Emmanuel Augustus gave a lot of motherfuckers problems. He got losses where, even though he lost, the fight was a seesaw battle or whatever, and Floyd was on the come-up. See, nobody tells that part. They want to make you think Emmanuel Augustus gave prime Floyd, or you know that, like that Floyd, that this is a Floyd that was. First of all, Floyd won the fight. Let's not get it twisted. He won the fight. You know, there was no controversy. There was no raising. No, he won the fight. But did Emmanuel Augustus give him trouble? Yes. But this was a Floyd that wasn't even fully developed yet, a fully polished Floyd yet. This was a Floyd on the come up. Every fucking fighter you see do that. You'll see a guy like 15-0, and he'll fight a guy that got like 30 wins, 12 losses. But this is what they do. And that's all this was. But it's the fact that we got to find something to try to make Floyd look bad. But you're not making him look bad. Y'all tried to give Charles Martin credit. What's his name? Jared Anderson credit for beating Charles Martin. And Charles Martin is complete doo-doo. But you see what happens when you soup people's heads up. You gash like these motherfuckers and had them thinking they're better than what they are. Then he got in there with Martin Bacoli and couldn't even compete. And so, you understand, that ain't happened to Floyd at no point in his career. And remember, Floyd beat Gennaro Hernandez, who was a good fighter and a good champion. And bottom line, you understand what I mean? You have certain fights where, hey, it was competitive. I don't look at you like you had a bad performance because you get into a proper scrap. Fighters come prepared to fight. Remember, Mike Tyson was supposed to steamroll Buster Douglas. But we know the excuse train came through and stopped at every other stop to make the excuses as to why Tyson got his ass whooped. But at the end of the day, you know, that's what this is right here. That's what this is. Hey, Sean Porter got a bill too. Why not fight him? You take the easy route. And you know the thing is, I'm so glad that Errol Spence was honest and said, why not take the easy route? Now, the fight wasn't as easy as it could have been because Errol Spence don't have the discipline to fight a disciplined fight. He make fights harder than he need to be. You understand what I'm saying? Which is exactly why I said Crawford versus Spence. Crawford just has to be Crawford. Spence is going to have to be different. Remember when I said that? Because Spence don't have discipline. This is the same guy that said, I could box and jab and move and all that, but that's boring to me. I like to go in there and mix it up. Okay. See, here's the problem though. When you fight in a one-dimensional style, people can telegraph your shit easier. And boxers win the majority of times against boxer punchers. They win the majority of time, you know, against brawlers, especially against brawlers. Boxer punchers, don't get this fucked up. Boxer punchers give pure boxers a far better fight than most brawlers do. That's why the brawlers stand out when they do give a pure boxer a really good fight, because brawlers are one-dimensional. And a lot of times people get boxer punchers and brawlers crossed up. They mix them up. No. Pretty much, Errol Spence is a boxer puncher. Okay? He's a boxer puncher. But he leans more to the puncher side, okay? And that's because he don't have the discipline. When he fought Mikey Garcia, people said, "Oh man, he just went in there and boxed and couldn't knock this move." Like they said all these things. He did that to show you that he could box. See, the problem with that though is you went in there and chose to box against a much smaller guy for the simple fact you didn't want people to criticize, saying, "Oh, so what? You beat up little Mikey. So what? You took the fight. He took the fight, right? Somebody got to win, somebody got to lose, right?" And to me, he did that the wrong way because he was trying to please the fans. But then he gets more criticism for not going for the kill against Mikey. All right. However it goes, man, regardless. Okay, regardless. It's one of these things where you guys seem to think, like a lot of people think, that a fight's going to go a certain way because of the way a fight went with somebody else, as if that person is the same exact individual. Like, no two fighters are identical. They can be very similar, but they're not identical. Like me making a comparison of Katie Taylor and Lauren Price. They have a lot of similarities, but they are different overall. And I pointed out those things that I see different. There's other things also that I probably didn't say that I know that makes them different. When I saw Adrian Broner, for example, go up in weight, and he fought against Paulie Malignaggi, I didn't like the way he fought that fight. He won, but his punch output was so low. He was being accurate, but he was being overly cautious with the guy that cannot punch. He cannot punch, man. You know how they say a fighter got pillows for fists? No, he just had the cotton. He didn't even have the pillowcase. You understand what I'm saying? He didn't even have the material. They stuffed the cotton in. His fist was just pure cotton. And if Adrian had any fight where he was supposed to go for the kill, that's the fight. You understand what I mean? That's the fight right there. And so pretty much when he fought him so cautiously, and then his very next fight was with Marcos Maidana. And this was before I even had a YouTube channel, before I was doing YouTube and stuff. And I remember I'm like, man, I don't know about this fight, man. I said, I think this dude Marcos might give him problems, right? And you know what everybody was saying? No, man, Devin Alexander beat him. I'm like, yo, Devin Alexander is technically a better fighter than Adrian, man. Adrian is just more flashy. Devin Alexander just has a problem with focus. You go back and watch Devin Alexander, you will see. Devin Alexander was a good fighter, man. This first loss was against Sean Porter. And the thing with Devin, like I said, Devin would be having a good fight, man. He'd be doing well, and then he just falls apart in the fight. That's always been Devin Alexander's problem. And because he beat Marcos Maidana, everybody assumed that Adrian Broner was going to do it. And they just assumed that Adrian was better than Devin. If Devin was to fight against Adrian and not lose focus, I'd pick Devin. I would pick Devin Alexander. But that's the whole thing. You don't know. You don't know with this guy. And you know what I mean? Because if you look at it, man, Adrian Broner, here's the problem. Up until Marcos Maidana, Adrian had his ass whooped or fought nobody that really gave him a good fight. So he don't know what a good ass whooping felt like. Once he got it, it made him rethink, his approach to fights. And he was never the same fighter after that. And everybody saw it, but everybody kept crossing their fingers and wishing and hoping for the best for the dude. But, when he lost to Sean Porter, and he said, look, man, I'm going to keep fighting this big dude. Like, damn, why you say it like somebody made you do it? You know what I mean? And then his excuse, you remember before he fought Mikey Garcia at the press conference? I feel like I'm getting disrespected. Like, I get my respect. Like, people, they don't know what the fuck I could do. And, like, he lose a fight. I came from nothing. I came from water and cornflakes. I ain't even supposed to be here. Like, every time I hear people say that dumb shit, I'm like, hey, here go another one. Like, you look at yourself lower than a fucking animal, huh? You more like you're a stray dog. So you don't even have a home. You're just out there eating scraps and eating through the garbage. I'm not even supposed to be here. Like, you're not a fucking human being. I always hate to hear black people say that stupid shit, man. I ain't even supposed to be here. But that's what he would say. Stupid shit like that. And when he says, I'm not going to keep fighting this big guy, okay, that shows you he didn't have the ability. He didn't have the confidence in his ability that y'all had in him. So yes, I told you guys, they're manufacturing Alycia Baumgardner. They're putting her in the right situation. So they try to keep her from losing anything, to keep that momentum going. So, and the thing is this, man, her momentum is stagnated. It's slow because she don't have any damn names that anybody really care about. Delphine Persoon, come on, man, she's washed up too. Delphine, there's no real, Michaela Mayer is the best win on her whole resume. Terry Harper, she moved up and got a belt somewhere else, I think at 47 or whatever it was. But at the end of the day, you understand what I'm saying? These divisions, like I said, people talk about notable names. And mostly what it is because these are women that have a whole country behind them. Why nobody bring up Tiara Brown name? And she beat Sky Nicholson, right? Okay, but any fighter that has a country behind them, they're talking about popularity, not so much skill set. That's all that is. So it's not a whole bunch of depth in these divisions. And like, just for example, what weight class did Amanda Serrano just fight at? 126. Baumgardner's next fight is going to be at 135. Who's at 140? Katie Taylor. Where's Michaela Mayer? 47. You understand what I'm saying? Where's Sandy Ryan? 47. So you see the point what I'm saying? None of these women are even in the same fucking weight classes, but everybody, Shield's got to go down. No, she don't. No. Now, this is what Baumgardner's getting ready to experience. You're getting ready to fight for a belt against a bum-ass champion. It's not your fault she's a bum. She's in the division, she has a belt, but she's targeted on purpose. Let's cherry pick the champ. Because the real fight is against Dubois. And pretty much this flat-footed style against a chick with fast hands that has some power, and has much better, movement. This fight is custom made. You don't think you have to be just a challenger for that to be the case. No, this champion, and like I'm saying, no, go get the belt. But I'm telling you, this was a cherry pick. This chick is nowhere near as good as Caroline Dubois. Nowhere near. And here's the deal. With Alicia's power, right? Yeah, I keep talking about this big power. Okay, well, she should knock this chick out. This chick is way too easy to hit. She should knock this chick out. And one thing about Alycia is this, right? She falls asleep at times the longer the fight goes, and she sometimes get vulnerable and get hit with shots that she shouldn't get hit with. Hopefully for Baumgardner, this doesn't become a banana peel fight for her. And I say this because I've seen several fights where somebody really go for the knockout. They go in and just jump on somebody, and it don't go that way. They either get knocked out or they might get the win but get embarrassed first. And I don't feel like, you ain't supposed to get knocked down. It's a fight. Shit happens. But what I'm saying, when I saw Evander Holyfield jump on Burt Cooper, he fought in Atlanta, GA, his hometown. He jumped on Burt. The crowd's going crazy. Burt refused to go down, man. I mean, Holyfield sent him down with a body shot, but he also dropped Holyfield. That's when Holyfield got spent around and slid down on ropes and shit. Yeah, but he won the fight. The ref stopped it. But he hit Burt with everything. Burt wasn't going anywhere. When he jumped on Bobby Chairs, he beat Bobby Chairs up. Bobby pretended something was in his eyes and all this or whatever. But he pretended he couldn't see anymore and whatever. And he quit. But we've seen this happen. We've seen fighters jump on fighters to try to get that knockout, and then it just doesn't happen. But either way, this is a fight that Baumgardner should win. This is a fight she should win, and hopefully she does win. And hopefully that her and Caroline can finally get there and get it on. I get so sick of people using age as an excuse to not fight them. I get so sick of people using the excuse on age when a person fight and loses. Brian Norman Jr. was just talking the other day, and he's saying he want a rematch with Devin. He's saying he want Keyshawn. He's saying that other guys don't want to fight him because he don't have a belt no more, and it's hard for him to get a fight. And now, for example, I'm looking at a Caroline Dubois fight, right? Now, let's look at something. This chick that she's fighting on this video, right? She's 27 years old, 15 fights, 13 wins, 4 knockouts and 2 losses, right? And this is the type of fight, right? This is what I'm saying. This is not a new fight, of course, but like this is from 3 years ago. But what is this chick's name again? Okay, y'all needed something. I ain't trying to repeat that shit. But anyway, and understand something. Caroline Dubois is in her 20s, right? Caroline Dubois is people keep talking like she's up and coming. This is because this division, this era has this cursed mindset. Like you got to be 35 years old to finally get a title shot. But Caroline Dubois is ready for that. So she's only 22 in this fight. She did 3 years ago. So Caroline Dubois was 22 in here. She had what? 6 fights, 6 wins, and 5 KOs. You understand what I'm saying? No losses. And this woman is trying to make the fights happen. And this is what gets me about all of these so-called fight fans is we know that they're fighter fans, and most of them just casuals anyway. But bottom line, they always talk about who like these fights, like who's ready and who's not. You know, we talking about Shushu not being ready. We talking about Bam Rodriguez not being. Well, when the fuck are they gonna be ready? Why is it everybody got this timetable that no, they're not ready, they're not ready, they're not ready? Brian Norman was the champion when Devin Haney beat him. And when Dev says that, he's not experienced in this and that, and yeah, he doesn't have the experience that Devin has, but he's the champion in the division. And everybody made a huge deal about him. In fact, remember, he was supposed to knock Devin out. Devin was confident that he could beat Brian Norman. Knew he was a better fighter. But nah, man, people thought, just like they thought Regis Prograis was going to knock out Devin Haney. And Brian Norman, being younger, listen to how he was talking. But now he's one of the things he said in his interview was that he got a little complacent. I'm the champ, I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, man, see, I don't care. Even when people say shit like, I don't even care about that excuse. And they'll say, no excuses. That is an excuse. Because for you to get complacent and then think you're untouched, okay, that's a you problem. That's a you problem. And if you would have beat Devin Haney, you wouldn't need a rematch. So he brought up how Devin Haney, when he beat Kambosos, right? He gave Kambosos a rematch, and then he said, how come I didn't get the same thing? Well, first of all, the reason that even happened was because George Kambosos, scary ass, of course, was the champion, and he wanted a rematch clause. Devin wasn't the champion. Kambosos was. So he exercised his rematch clause. And basically, it also stipulated that both fights had to be overseas in Australia. And both fights, George Kambosos took the lion's share of the money. Yes, facts. He took the lion's share of the money, win, lose, or draw. And Devin, he agreed to all of that. And this is where, Brian Norman was talking about how he traveled all over the world. He fought in different countries and his grind and how this, okay. So before you did it, Devin did it. So everything you're doing, even before Devin got a name, even before in the States, he was fighting overseas. So there's nothing you've done that Devin hasn't done already. So you see what I'm saying? The very thing that you crediting yourself about, Devin did it way before you and did it better. And he beat you. So all of I got complacent, this and that, and God, look, nah, okay, whatever. That's a you problem. So again, that's why there was a rematch. So don't try to make Devin look bad by trying to say, where my rematch? No, this was in the contract. You understand what I'm saying? When you got your belt, did you rematch the person that you got the belt from? So you understand what I'm saying? It's always instead of just, hey, look, man, Devin won the fight. So don't say that and then give him props and say, shout out to Dev, he won. Yeah, we know he won. No excuses. He won. No, we don't care about you got complacent, you thought this, so what? There's many fighters before you who have the same excuses. And this is why I say it's like this generation don't learn from past generations. They don't even learn from people that's out here with them right now. So you obviously still got the chip on your shoulder, and thinking, because why? For you to even say that and then start saying these things as if like drawing these conclusions like everybody's ducking you. Devin beat your ass so easy. For him to be scared of a rematch, he's probably scared he's going to kill you the next time, if anything. So, but it's talk. It's talk, and he's trying to put the challenge out there. What I will say about all these fighters that claim that they're so devastating and they're must-see TV, why is it so hard for y'all to get fights? So when you say these guys don't want to fight you, you could be telling the truth. And that usually means that the next opponent you're going to have is not going to be a good one. So that means you need to go in there and smoke this dude. That's why it's not good to talk so much. Because you start talking and talking, and it's something that you say, your words come back and haunt you. And people are going to play the clip of you saying all the stuff that you said. So all the talking is not necessary, man. Anyways, so yeah, just go check this fight out, Elif Turhan. Go look at her fights, and you see if you don't notice everything about her that I just said. She's awful, man. She's awful. So this is one of these fighters that, well, she has a puncher's chance. But I'm pretty sure in the build-up, they're going to try to make her sound like, she's untouchable, she's unbeatable, she's this, wrecking ball and all these knockouts. I guarantee you they're going to try to build her to be better than what she is. Now, and I think MVP, they probably tell the women, like, hey, don't try not to say this and that, or don't try to bury each other, because then, whoever wins, then you look bad. Like, okay, you just beat a bum. But that's exactly what this chick is trash. It's trash. And then when y'all sit up here and talk about how uneventful these women fights are, when you sit here and talk about how they have no depth to their divisions and all of that, right? Okay, that means the people holding the titles too. It's funny how y'all try to label all Clarissa's opponents like that, but if you look at Clarissa's opponents, you know what I'm saying? That she's just so much better than these women. But when you watch them, because this is the thing about Clarissa Shields' opponents, several fighters. Now all of a sudden, Lonnie Daniels is the shit. Oh, she was a bum when Clarissa beat it, all right? She was a child. She was unknown. I even heard y'all say that the same thing about Danielle Perkins. The very next fight that she had, she's a beast, yo. Yeah, you know why she didn't like that against Clarissa? Because Clarissa nullified that shit. This is what I'm saying. It's one thing when you're just so much better than everybody else, as opposed to you're just fighting weak opponents. And again, here's a woman, a 20 fucking time champion. A 20 fucking time champion, but she's fighting bums. Yeah, okay, right. And here's someone coming up getting ready to fight another undefeated bum. And that's just what it is. But yeah, just saying, at least she's going after a champion. Plain and simple. At least she's going after a title holder. But yeah, so for you to tweet and jump in front of a camera and try to shoot down opponents, and we know that clearly you picked an opponent. This opponent was picked because of how lousy she is. And she just happened to have a title. Exactly. Roy Jones. As talented as Roy Jones was. Now, I'm trying to get Lenny Lewis. You know what I'm saying? Lenny Lewis, he's going to get back to me. And I was trying to get to Mike Tyson. Let me explain something to you, too. A lot of y'all probably don't be thinking about this, but you do know that they have birds, right? I don't mean cockatoos and parakeets. I mean people that get information. Like, let me give you an example of something. So Roy Jones, for example, claimed he wanted to fight Mike Tyson. Now, you are into boxing. You know everything about every fighter in every other division except for the division that you're going on into. Yeah, Mike Tyson, I heard he retired though. Yeah, Mike going through some, this and this and that. Yo, you know what? This should be good press for me to call Mike Tyson out. Nah, but Mike ain't gonna cut. That's what I'm saying. I got word. Mike not ready though. Mike ain't, my bird let me know. Mike ain't ready. Yeah, Mike, he going through some stuff mentally, man, and like physically his body ain't right. So shit, the world don't know that, but I know that. So I'm going to call Mike out. So when he don't respond, who else is a champ up there? Well, you got Lennox, You got Chris Bird. Yeah, but Lennox Lewis, man, like Lewis right now, man, he had an injury to his shoulder, and he don't know how long that's going to take. They don't want that to really get out. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to take his time. So you know what? I'm going to call out Mike Tyson. I'm going to say I want to fight Mike. But pretty much, it's like that shit ain't going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Because his current situation, and he's not going to respond because he don't want nobody to know that this is some personal shit. Lewis is not ready, either. And yeah, Lewis ain't even in fight shape. I seen him, dude got a gut. So now I'm going to go out there. I'm going to call out Mike. I'm going to call out Lewis. You know what I'm saying? I know they're not going to respond. But then, you know what's going to happen? Who else got a belt? John Ruiz? Oh, shit. Let's try to get a fight with John Ruiz. Word, let's try to get a fight with John Ruiz. And he ain't shit. That's easy work right there. Yeah. That's what the birds do. They get word, they come back. That's nothing new. They got birds coming to these camps. They watch people train and all that. Somebody get knocked. Look, what did Joey DeWaco do? He called Serafina and told Serafina to tell Jarrell Miller not to worry about nothing. I just concussed Anthony Joshua. You understand what I'm saying? Yo, I just seen such and such. How you think when people call a fighter and on 1 week, 2 weeks notice, don't you realize that this is planned? They don't just, it just happened. No. You know what? We need to fight with such and such. Let's get this person. Let's do that. And especially if you're going to pay them well. Yeah, and then they take the fight and they're not nearly in the shape that they should have been in or even close to it or whatever. And then what happens? They go in there and they get their ass whooped, but they took the fight, right? You remember that episode of Martin when he fought Thomas Hearns? Remember how Cole was like, yo, he was like, he seen Thomas Hearns getting the plane, he gone, but he was wrong. He was getting off the plane, not getting on. But, right? So before that, Martin was terrified, right? Now, yeah, it's just a show. But the principle, when Martin was scared, he tried to find a way to get out of the ass whooping, right? But then all of a sudden, when Cole gives him the wrong information and he thought that he was gone, shoot, I'm all bad, but now all of a sudden he's brave. Like it's like really one of these things where people do these things. So when they're talking and they're saying, I want this person, I want that person, but that person is not ready. Now notice, Mike Tyson was fucking retired. That came out of Roy Jones' mouth. So why the fuck you calling a retired man? Are you gonna come out of retired just to fight you? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Lennox Lewis, I ain't get back to Lewis had issues. You understand what I'm saying? So let's make myself look good. Chris Bird was there. Why you didn't fight Chris Bird? You understand? Chris Bird, way better, way better. That might, in fact, that's a fight Roy probably would have lost. More than likely, Roy would have lost to Chris Bird at heavyweight. But he calls out who? I mean, Ike Bucci. I mean, come on, man. You got David Tua there, but he wanted to be champion. You see, he did a one-time thing, but he did the opposite of Pernell. See, Pernell, like I said, when they was like, are you going to fight Terry Norris? No, right? He made it known. But Roy tried to make it seem like everybody was scared to fight him at heavyweight. Come on, man. You see, he tried to pull that, like everybody was scared. I will call it. Lennox Lewis will be getting back to me. You know what Lennox Lewis would have did to this little motherfucker, man? Do you know what Lennox Lewis would have did to Roy Jones? But, if it wasn't about I want to test myself to see, to beat a top heavyweight. No, this was a cherry pick. It just so happened that John Ruiz had one of the belts. Okay? That's all that was. Easy work. And it worked for him. All right, so anyways, so this is who Alycia Baumgardner is fighting. And she should go in there and win. And the next fight should definitely be against Caroline. We'll see what happens. Should Caroline get past Moore this weekend? And we see the way it goes. Anyways, this is all I got for you guys. Catch you guys in the next video.